All right, so the word of the day is representation. So within the game Chroma, we are going to talk about the different ways representation is used within the game. Um, I will admit this is my third time going through this game because of technical difficulties. So I cannot say any longer that I'm going to play this game without having looked at different what it's about and what it's trying to portray, because I did that during my first time going through this game. So this is Chroma. Could not play it myself because of more technical difficulties. So we are going to watch it. When I watched this one, at first I thought I knew what was happening. I thought it was a puzzle or something specific was going on, that you were moving these characters and you had to fit them in the right places. But then things started getting weird when pieces started moving themselves. And then I was confused. Then I thought, okay, you put the piece in the right place, and then the surrounding image of it, the rest of the image, appears when you put it in the right place. But then I was wrong because things started moving again, and I didn't understand what was happening. So this frustrated, though I wasn't even playing. I was frustrated. And then, like, is this what you wanted? Is that what she's chanting in the... Look, this one was hard for me to understand. One, because it was very different from all the other chapters. And two, I didn't know what it wanted from me. Though, again, I'm not playing. If I was playing, I wouldn't know what it wanted. But I guess the chanting of "is this what you wanted?" and I don't know what you wanted from me. Maybe that connects, but I didn't know what it wanted, and maybe that's what it wanted for me to not know, because with pieces moving on their own and there's no feedback to let me know if I did something correct or wrong. It seemed like there was, but then that feedback changed, or that feedback started happening to other things that I didn't move, or the player didn't move, and it confused me. So this one, this chapter is when, not that I thought that I knew what was happening.
Even a cellular phone knows the sound of it.
So it's interesting because you're interacting with this game.
Such a choice does not win you friends and influence in the land.
And your interactions mean something to the game, to you. I don't know what my interactions mean. But that's something that Solomon and Zimmerman were talking about in the chapter that we read, was that how you interact in a game creates its meaning. And in this game, it just seems like how you interact with it manipulates some things, but not everything. But I do think your interactions make it a lot more interesting than it would be if you would have just stayed with your cursor and just watched it versus moved around and played with it. There could have been a very different game being seen here, but the interactions make these objects move across the screen And I'm very curious to know what would have happened if you did not interact with this game. Something that I would not be able to do, sadly. I feel like that said words and I want to know what it said. Chapter 5, I enjoyed a little bit because I kind of understood what was happening. Um, that the way I interpreted it was you're in someone's thoughts, which probably is exactly what this game is, but you're in someone's thoughts, but your thoughts are being mingled with other people's thoughts. I could be wrong. I could be dead on. Maybe like Doug Christine. I don't know. But that's what I got from this one specifically because there are 3 people in the Numenos. There are 4 objects, but mainly 3. This 4th one, maybe it's Dr. Anders, maybe it's something else that they need to control as a unit. Maybe I am completely off. But that's what I got from this because when I think about my thoughts and what I think about on a daily basis, or when I close my eyes and I'm thinking, I see something like this. This is what it looks like in my head. And that's how I got this. Because there's, and for it to be 3 different people, there's these red lines, there's 3 of them, okay? And they're all kind of doing different things. And that's 3 different people with 3 different thoughts of how they think this should go. And that's what I got from this. And then some part where, they're kind of doing the same thing at some moment, and then one person decides to do something different, and then they're just like, let's all do it. And so they all start acting the same way. That's what I got from this. It's representing this alternate world where it is your thoughts intermingling with someone else, with other people's thoughts, and what that looks like. Could be completely wrong, but that's what I saw. This chapter was the only one that I thought really represented the whole identity and a racial conversation that this game talked about. That Chroma is a game where you kind of where it represents the thoughts and feelings of characters exploring issues of race and identity. This chapter was the only one that I saw do that. It's the only one that I felt talked on that issue. You can clearly tell. Well, in the dialogue, it's this woman explaining how she is both black and white, how society doesn't understand that it was like you're supposed to be one race, one identity. She's 2 of them, and they don't know how to categorize her. And I think that this does a good job of explaining that. And it represents, like, each maze represents a person, because every person is a maze. Her maze is hard to get through because she is 2 different identities. There's a point where the maze goes away. You can no longer see this bottom part right here, and you're still trying to get through the maze. Finish the maze. Finish this person, though you can't see half of it, or you can't see the rest of it. And I thought that was a good representation of what it's like to be biracial, because they try to put you in one box, but you can't really be in one box. So, like, this whole race syntax era, like, this was this part of the game I thought was very that it was spot on what was going on and telling you what the game was all about. Um, but again, I feel like this chapter didn't really flow with all the other chapters. But I thought this was a good representation of just the whole game of Chroma in talking about race and ethnicity in a digital space. In conclusion, this game was interesting. I was upset that I didn't get to play, but to recap what I was talking about, yes, there's this magic circle that exists, the Nemenos. I think I said that right. Um, and that is where the game is being played. So it's kind of you being in the Nemenos, playing in the it's a lot, but you're in this different circle. You're not in reality. You're in the Nemenos. You're somewhere else. You're clearly told that, and you know that. And you know also through the different vocabulary that's used. Um, the way you interpret the game is the way you interact with the game is very different. In other games, how you control it is specific to what you do, but in this game, though yes, you're controlling some parts of it, there's other parts that you cannot control. You're just interacting with these thoughts, I guess. The thoughts are still going to do what they're doing, but you can move through them. You can interact with it, but you can't change it. You can't change what's going to happen just looking around it. Something like that. And then the representing of race and identity, representing thoughts, representing the mind. I thought this game did it very well in a digital sense. Frustrating. If I played it, I would have been a little bit more angry. But I thought in the end it was a pretty cool, interesting, interactive